Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. Welcome back to a brand new match preview on the channel. Hope you guys are keeping well and safe. We are here for the match preview ahead of Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Ipswich Town at Molineux this weekend. Another huge game for Wolves. It feels like we're having to say it every week or so now, but it is another must-win for Wolves. A point won't really do either side any favours, and Wolves really need 3 points. But some big news from Gary O'Neill's press conference, which I'll get into shortly, my thoughts, and of course we'll have the opposition perspective in a short while as well. But as always, please go and check out our channel partners over at Football Prizes. Another big prize up for grabs this week, and it's cheap tickets to get involved with this one. It's the signed and framed Wolves shirt, so be sure to go and get involved in that with the link at the top of the description down below. But massive news from Gary O'Neill's pre-match press conference is that Mario Lemina is no longer the captain of Wolverhampton Wanderers. The new captain of the club is now Nelson Semedo. I was actually told this news yesterday and really wasn't sure what to believe, to be honest. And Gary O'Neill has confirmed it as of today. And it is pretty much following the situation that we saw during the aftermath of the West Ham United game. His reaction just wasn't the sort of reaction that you would expect from a captain. And I think Wolves really needed to sort of set that example. It's a mutual decision. Gary O'Neill had a conversation with Mario Lemina apparently, and I think mentally it was obviously, making life difficult for Mario. So hopefully now he's sort of got that pressure off and we can start to see the Mario that we've seen before this season, for the last sort of 12, the 18 months that we saw before the 24-25 campaign. Going into this game, though, again, two other players that aren't available. Jose Sarr out. Pablo Sarabia still not back either. João Gomez is going to be suspended. So a little bit of tinkering for Gary O'Neill to do. I think, and I've said it a couple of times to Ipswich fans this week, I still feel that Gary O'Neill does not know what his best 11 is. His best shape, I don't know. His best 11, I don't know. He's having to chuck a few things around. Things have changed. But something's just still not clicking. And of course, I've spoken about it a couple of times already this week on the channel. The club have made it clear that Gary O'Neill is going to be the manager for the foreseeable future. That's pretty much because they can't find anybody to take over. And that's probably because of the conditions that a new head coach would be working under in regards to the self-sustainable model. However, Gary O'Neill in his pre-match press conference today said January will be different. And by that, you probably think that Wolves are going to spend a bit of money. So you're chucking a bit of money more than likely on Gary O'Neill when you wouldn't chuck a bit of money on another head coach, which is really, really strange. Unless he meant by that it's going to be different and they're going to be bringing in sort of experienced pros rather than younger sort of up-and-coming players that we saw a little bit more of last summer just gone. So very interesting. In terms of sort of a lineup for Wolves, I'm really not too sure how Gary O'Neill is going to approach this game because certainly Johnston will start in goal. You'll still see the likes of Cunha, Strand Larsen. There's decisions to be had with who starts in the midfield. There's decisions to be had who starts at the back as well. I really wouldn't be surprised to maybe see someone like Hwang come in and start, which I wouldn't be fully against. A bit more going forward, I think of Hwang, Jorgen Strand Larsen, Cunha front three. Do you go over midfield three, maybe if Tommy Daw to come in alongside Mario Lemina and Andre possibly, and then a flat back four, with Semedo, Ait-Nouri, and then the two centre-halves, you probably go with Totti and Bueno again, maybe. Maybe Ait-Nouri can be pushed further forward, so you have Totti at left back and bring Dawson back in after he was left out against West Ham. A lot of options there to be had for Gary O'Neill, and I am quite intrigued to see how he lines up. But like I said at the start, this is crucial for Wolves. This is a relegation rival, and I can't believe I'm saying that Wolves are in this relegation battle. We very much are. We're coming towards the midpoint of the season. We've only got 9 points, and we sat in the bottom three. Wolves need to win this game to make sure they leapfrog Ipswich and start to put pressure on those teams above them again. If Wolves can win this weekend, we beat Leicester next weekend, the table all of a sudden looks completely different for Wolves going into the sort of January period. These are two winnable games, two must-win games for Wolves and Gary O'Neill. But let's get the Ipswich perspective. I spoke to Martin yesterday to get his thoughts on Ipswich Town and what we can expect from McKenna's side this weekend. So then, delighted to welcome Martin onto the channel to get the Ipswich Town perspective ahead of Saturday's game. Martin, thanks for jumping on. How you been keeping, man?
Yeah, I'm well, thank you. Yeah, I'm really good. Really excited to see what this weekend brings, really.
Yeah, it's a big game for both teams, really. I mean, you asked me on there, we did a preview on your channel as well, and asked if it was a must-win, which I think it certainly is for Wolves. Ipswich are, pretty much level on points with Wolves. Is this where you guys were expecting to be throughout the season, really, sort of in and around these sort of places, and obviously for your sake, hopefully escaping relegation come the end of the campaign?
Yeah, it really depends on who you ask. To be honest, some were overly optimistic and were saying mid-table. One or two were going even more optimistic and thinking back to the last time we were in the Premier League. Whereas some of us were just, if you offered it right now, 17th, would take it.
Yeah, thank you
offered
very
a
much,
survival. That's all we want. So, are we where we thought we'd be on 9 points out of 15 games? Vast majority probably not, but we are around the bottom three, which is where I think most people had us throughout the season, and just hopefully come May staying above that line.
Yeah, I just quickly looked at some of your results, and I think you get it in any league really, but you've sort of truly experienced proper Premier League with you beating Spurs, drawing to Manchester United, and then losing to Palace, Forest, and Bournemouth. So it's been an up and down campaign for you guys so far. But what have you made of it in terms of the quality of football that Ipswich have been up against, but the quality of football that you guys have been putting out on display as well?
Yeah, it was great to be back inside the Premier League. The quality is there. It's the elite level. It's the best league in the world. We often so often hear, except VAR. That's not the best of anything. But we've been in every single game, and I know it's almost like you're saying it to be optimistic and just give yourself a rah-rah speech, but we have been in every single game, or most games, outside of West Ham and Man City. We should have taken at least a point away at Brentford, which is Brentford are a solid Premier League side. But we're not getting blown away 4 or 5-0 a week. We're there or thereabouts. Last Sunday, leading for 8 minutes. Then Bournemouth do what Bournemouth have done, time and time again this year, and that's grab 2 goals inside 4 minutes, I think it was, and steal a win. Not steal a win because they were very good, but take the win away from us. And it's fine margins. We've had the ball hit the post and bounced the wrong way. We've had VAR decisions go against us. Players out of form. Players adapting and learning at this level. But yeah, it's quality to watch. You have to pinch yourself, particularly after the journey we've been on. Before even going to League One, we were Championship benchmarkers, if you like. People used to benchmark themselves against. Well, if you finish above Ipswich, you're going to finish probably at least 10th upwards or 14th upwards. We were the gatekeepers of the Championship, if you like. Then we dropped into League One. So just to be back inside the Premier League, it is nice. It is special.
Yeah, I mean, look, and again, like you've said, you've been remaining competitive. I think a lot of people probably had you guys as rock bottom, yourselves or Southampton. Southampton are struggling, but you're remaining competitive, and that's why it's quite an intriguing game going into Saturday because of how poor Wolves have been. I think Ipswich can certainly cause problems for Wolves, but this week, and like I mentioned to you earlier on, we've got Leicester next week. These are 2 games that Wolves really need to be getting points out of. Who are the players, Martin, that Wolves need to be looking out for? Who's sort of really kicked on for Ipswich so far this season?
Well, first of all, Delap up front. He's been sensational since he arrived. Nothing short of sensational. Anyway, we've got Danny Murphy on Match of the Day previously calling him a Harry Kane successor, which not quite sure if that's the reason why we've had a little bit of a dip in form from Delap since then. Since then, I don't think he scored. Someone might say I'm wrong on that, but I'm fairly confident saying since Danny Murphy said that. So cheers, Danny.
He's jinxed it.
He ain't scored a goal. He should have scored against Man United, but it was great saves by their goalkeeper. But Delap is one. It really will bully your centre halves, or try to. He feeds off energy and passion, and he's just really sort of almost old-fashioned centre forward. He's strong. He likes the physical battle, but he's great with his feet. So he's got that modern ability about him as well. He's great with his feet, great with back to goal. Will fashion his own chances. Go and check out the 0-0 away at Brighton, where he gets the ball on the edge of the centre circle, turns the defender, creates a chance himself, charges 10, 15 yards, unleashes a shot, hits the bar. He's been making his own chances, finishing well, but he has been looking tired recently. Outside of that, therein lies a bit of a problem for Ipswich Town. That the players behind him, you really could change them week by week, and you wouldn't really see that much of a difference because no one's really in form. You have got Schmodix, who has scored a good number of goals for a player stepping up, and he is probably one that you would miss and would notice. But outside of that, you could say, well, you could play Chaplin or Hutchinson or Burns or Broadhead, and who hasn't really played that much Broadhead, to be fair to him. But you get my point. The lack of form is a big issue behind that, or it is for me anyway. And Leif Davis, assist king in the Championship. At one point, I don't know if he still is, ahead of Alexander Arnold for big chance creations. He's a quality player. Don't understand why he's not in the England squad. We've got a left back crisis apparently, and yet you've got one that
he could have been in the was it the Euros that we had in the summer?
I had him in the Euros squad. I was demanding he was be put in there, but I understand. I don't understand why he's not in, even for a few friendlies, just given the opportunity to to get his feet wet at camp level, but hey, he's not.
Yeah. Kieran McKinnon's obviously, he was a big talking point during the summer, and you guys managed to keep hold of him in the end. Are you not concerned as such, but are there going to be big suitors, do you think, in the future, even if you guys, do go down as well? I mean, we saw it with Vincent Kompany, ended up leaving Burnley, who got relegated as the manager of Bayern Munich. Kieran McKenna obviously has got a lot of suitors. There's some big clubs after him. Do you think his long-term future does lie with Ipswich Town, or is it going to be elsewhere?
I hope it lies with Ipswich Town. But you do feel, particularly after Kompany did get that move to Bayern Munich off the back of a relegation, that perhaps clubs don't view relegation as much anymore as a roadblock as the reasons why we can't, if we feel he's the right man with the right philosophy and the right way, right vision. It used to be relegation was almost a big roadblock on a CV, particularly for a manager. But yeah, I want it to be at Ipswich. I wouldn't be surprised if we got relegated, or even staying in the division, perhaps. Having just won promotion, there was 3 clubs after him, so even just staying in the league doesn't mean you're going to be guaranteed keeping him. But he has signed a long-term contract. I understand that, but football's football, and contracts, well, we've seen
don't mean a lot.
Don't mean much, do they? No. Yeah. But I want him to stay. And I really hope and pray his long-term future is with us. Staying up or being relegated. Either way.
Yeah, you guys you picked up a couple of players in the summer. You spent a decent amount of money, which I think you had to try and get your squad up to the next level. But a couple of players that Wolves are linked with as well. I think a couple of the defenders, Dara O'Shea, I think, and great Jacob Greaves. How have they both been getting on for you so far this season?
Dara O'Shea is just fantastic centre half. He's growing week in, week out. Really commanding centre half, and someone I really enjoy watching, having played that position myself, albeit at Sunday morning level. But still, I can appreciate a centre half when I see one. Jacob Greaves started the season well. Was learning the Premier League. Obviously O'Shea's been here before. Greaves, I don't believe, hadn't been here before. So he was developing and learning. Then he got injured. Yeah. And since his injury, Cam Burgess has stepped back in, who's been with us since League One. And he's been absolutely immense. And the pair of them, O'Shea and Burgess, have just formed this partnership where, out of nowhere, it's one of the real strengths of our team. So saying that, Greaves may play Saturday, and I'll be, but I would be surprised if Burgess doesn't start, having been man of the match last week. But Greaves is a good player. And he's a left-footed centre half, and he'll go on to be a great player and one of these players you see in the news that's sold with big money because he's a left-sided centre half. And they're very rare, these days.
Decent quality ones.
Yeah, the ones that can play with the ball at their feet. They're rare. So he'll go on to be a great player.
And looking forward to the January window as well. Is there any more business there?
It needs to be.
Ipswich? Yeah. Where do you guys need to strengthen, do you think?
Well, we sit second from bottom. You arguably could say a number of positions, but one of them certainly has to be the centre forward position, and that's not because Delap hasn't done it. It's because 60 minutes when Delap's run his race, we haven't got anybody coming on who can play the same style as Delap, can do what Delap does, and he's really looking fatigued in previous weeks because it's all on him now. It's all on Delap, and we need that little bit of help. We chased several strikers in the summer, some from the continent, some that were already English clubs. Didn't bring anybody in. So currently, because of an injury to George Hurst, our understudy to Delap, Ali El Hamadi, was playing League Two football this time last year with AFC Wimbledon. And it's just that big step up for him. When really he probably should be out, on loan. Getting confidence, getting goals, developing, ready to come back and make that battle. So he's a centre forward for sure, without a doubt.
Yeah, I do. I'm interested. I think as somebody like Evan Ferguson, which I think a lot of Wolves fans probably would be interested in as well, and maybe even Ipswich as well, because I know Brighton are open to loaning him out. But the thing is, with Delap, and obviously we've got Strand Larsen, I'd assume Brighton will want Ferguson playing as many games or starting as many games as possible. So I think it's quite a tricky signing maybe to make, but I'd be intrigued. I think certainly I could see him at Ipswich maybe, leading the line as well. It's going to be a big game, Martin. I mean, Ipswich lost 3 on the bounce. Wolves are trying to get. I think we've lost 3 on the bounce as well. Both teams desperate for a win. Going into this, you feeling positive? What's your sort of thinking? Your score prediction going into this game?
Well, I thought I was feeling positive, but looking at my skin, looking at how red my face has gone through the conversation of thinking about this game, I'm clearly, the blood pressure is rising, and it's stress. It's the Premier League, you see, it's stressing me out. But no, I think it's these lights. But yeah, what was the question again? I was just sort of
score prediction. What you think? What your feelings going into towards the game?
I caught the glow on the camera, so I was like, score prediction. Well, it's a must win. Let's be honest. You look at the Premier League fixture list, you look at the teams you think are going to be around you come May, and you say, well, you've got to take at least 4 points off them, beat them at home, point away, or whatever. And as the season evolves and changes, that's why we love football. It's a living thing, and it just constantly changes. And teams that perhaps you didn't see, like Wolves being in the bottom 3, you go to the Molineux and you think you've got to win. You've got to take 3 points because it gives you 3 points above yourselves. It potentially creates more of a buffer between you and Southampton. It closes the gap on the 4th from bottom side, which is Palace at the moment, to 1 point if they lose, obviously, at the weekend. If you lose, it all happens in reverse. And if you draw, it doesn't hurt you, but it doesn't help you. And then it puts pressure on. If Sophie excels, for example, you got us and Leicester. If you get nothing out of those, you've got Man United and then Aston Villa. That's more pressure on those 2 games. And we've got Arsenal and Chelsea and Newcastle, and I don't want to put more pressure than's needed because we've slipped up against Wolves.
I've felt as well this season, whenever our teams or whatever get points, everyone else around us seems to get points as well, and that's just like the last 3 weeks. Either of us pick up a win out of those 3 games, or 4 points out of the 3. You're in all of a sudden in a much better position than what we are now, and it's crazy the fine margins at the moment. And I really hope that a win can, for both sides, kick up a little bit of momentum as well and get us out.
It'll be tough with Newcastle, Chelsea, and Arsenal, coming up for the next 3 over Christmas. That's but we've beaten Tottenham away 2-1. That is a Brucey bonus in the fixture list when you're looking at your points and where you're picking them up.
For sure, yeah.
You don't want to be putting so much pressure on, going to the Emirates and you're thinking, well, you slipped up against Southampton away, got a point at Wolves or worse. We really need to win this game because that's one of the toughest games it's going to be of the season. So, no disrespect to Wolves, but looking at the league table, it's got to be.
I think everyone's going to look at a game against Wolves and think they're going to get something at the moment.
Ipswich, vice versa. I understand how people can look at Ipswich. They're coming to Wolves. We've got to beat them. What's
sort of a question I hadn't asked you? What's the sort of mood in terms of Ipswich fans? Is everyone sort of quite level-headed, or like the Wolves fan base? We have some people that are quite level-headed, some that lose their head quite quickly. Have you got that, or is everyone sort of on the same page at the moment in terms of where you guys are as a club?
Yeah, it's again, it's a bit split. You get some fans that we spent £100 million that we should be so much better than what we are, but as we spoke about on my show, £100 million, just to be in the division isn't overall that much, but you've got to spend money just to tread water in the Premier League, and we were coming obviously from League One, back-to-back promotions. We are where we thought we'd be. We need to have a great second half of the season, but it's not out of the realms of possibility. Some have already said January is more of a championship window, a view to what we're going to do in the championship, and almost waves the white flag and given up. I still think we can survive. I don't know if that's just me being positive for the sake of being positive or not, but the overall mood is that it's brilliant to be here. And my mood, I can't speak for everybody. My mood is I'm getting tired of hearing about how great it is to be here, and the journey's been amazing. The journey's been fantastic, but I want to stay at the destination a bit longer than.
There's no reason why the journey can't continue. I think everyone said that about Brentford, and they're doing really well as well. Yeah, mate. There's no reason why not, but
I want to stay here, Dave. I want to stay at the destination just a bit longer, if that's all right.
I don't blame you.
I'm enjoying the all-inclusive. I'm enjoying the quality that's coming to Portman Road. I just want to stay a bit.
You're just
longer.
not enjoying the VAR, though. That's the only thing at the moment.
No one enjoys VAR.
Now, Mike, thank you very much for jumping on the show. Apart from Saturday, mate, all the best for the rest of the season. But I'm sure I'll catch you for the reverse fixture as well.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So big thanks to Martin. I'll make sure we leave a link to him and his pages in the description down below. And I'd like to know your thoughts, guys, and your score predictions. I'm going with a 2-1 Wolves win. I'm intrigued to see how we set up. I'm intrigued to see the atmosphere and so on. I really don't want that toxicity, which I'm sort of half expecting, probably more pointed towards Jeff Shee and co. But we've got the 100 celebrations tomorrow as well, which is going to be intriguing to see how that goes. But yeah, fingers crossed for a Wolves win. I'm going 2-1 Wolves. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, guys. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll catch you on the next one.